The photographs capture soaring views from near the top of the new bridge across San Francisco Bay. But more often, the photographer focused his lens on the workers building the bridge. Joe Blum, now 72, has been documenting the construction for 15 years.
I joke with people I was a young man when I came out here, when I started on this project. So let's go.
His age never seemed to get in his way as he maneuvered on scaffolding, catwalks, and cables, hundreds of feet in the air.
I think it's kept me young. I think it's the exercise is great. The camera bag when I bring it out fully loaded is 25 or 30 pounds, and do a lot of walking, sometimes uphill walking, a lot of climbing up and down the scaffolding.
He took photographs as workers hammered bolts and wrestled with iron to create the elegant bridge suspended from a single 525-foot-high tower. But as impressive as the structure is, it's the workers that Blum wants us to see.
The engineers get credit, the designers and architects, they know how to get in front of the camera and talk about themselves. These guys do not at all, and they're the ones who are taking the plans, the design, the prints, and turning it into a living structure of steel and concrete. And now they're taking those towers down with thermal torches.
Blum's admiration for ironworkers grows from his own experience. He worked as a boilermaker and welder in San Francisco shipyards for 25 years.
What's up, Joe? How you been?
How are you, my friend?
What skills do the people who build this bridge have?
Obviously, you have to be fearless in a certain way. You have to be strong. You have to have stamina. And I think you have to have a certain mental and emotional toughness to go out there.
Blum admired the bridge workers, but how did they feel about him? Ironworkers Steve Batiste, Jerry Cabala, and Ed Meyer.
There's been a lot of photographers out there. We really don't care too much for them because they come up with a different attitude, almost treat us like animals in a zoo, like, oh, let's take a picture.
When it first started out, we were probably pushing him out of the way, but he would get right in there and try to take the best shots, of us working.
As you could tell early on that Joe was taking pictures of us, these guys, and the struggles that we had every day.
In some of those photos, though, you have people on platforms that seem to be hanging in
Yes.
midair.
Yes. When I first saw that, I was quite amazed to see them working off of floats. Those are floats. And they throw these floats over the side and then climb over the side. I mean, being tied off with their fall protection, but getting out there. And yes, I had pictures of them then swinging a hammer off of these floats, in which you would not believe somebody standing on this thing and hitting something with an 8-pound beater. And, it's almost like, a trapeze going back and forth.
The new bridge, the eastern span of the San Francisco-Oakland Bay Bridge, replaces a structure built in the 1930s.
I often try and get the old bridge in the background of my photographs. And somebody said to me, well, why do you want that ugly structure? And I don't see that. I see it as a beautiful structure. It was, built with the technology and the understanding that they had at that time.
Blum's photos echo those taken in the 1930s by Life magazine photographer Peter Stackpole. An exhibit of Stackpole's photos at the Oakland Museum of California celebrates the old bridge and the workers who built it.
Can you imagine that 75 years from now, people will be looking at your photographs in the way they now look at Stackpole?
I could hope. Thank you for coming.
Blum may not have to wait for that recognition.
Look at you. Oh my God, you're like a famous photographer.
I don't know about that.
The San Francisco Arts Commission opened a show of Blum's bridge photos at City Hall.
Next to me is the man of the evening, Joe Blum. Let's listen.
On the exhibit's opening night, many bridge workers came to see how Blum saw them.
That was a good one.
Fabulous.
Ironworker Tony Costa came to look at himself in one of the show's soaring photos. General Superintendent Jerry Kent wanted to see a picture of his son, ironworker Aaron Kent.
Yeah, I want to say one sentence that thanks everybody for coming, and it's about these guys. No, you have no idea how hard and dedicated it is to do that work, no matter what the conditions. There were days they worked 12, 14, 16 hours a day, and it was an honor to be able to shoot them. So.
For years, Blum simply collected the photos and sorted out his favorites. It was truly a labor of love. Nobody paid him to do the work. His only income was Social Security and a small pension from his days as a Boilermaker. Now he is selling his photos, sometimes for little more than the cost of printing them. His reward for 15 years of hard work,
Hey guys, how you doing?
is winning the respect of the workers he photographed.
We knew early on that he was always going to be our advocate. We could see it in his eyes, and we could see it through the lens of his camera and the images that he took. And I'm here to say the greatest honor I ever had in my career was being labeled a journeyman bridgeman. I think Joe deserves to be called Bridgeman Photographer.